So yeah, USD still overall bullish. It looks like we've had a bit of retracement on the lower time frames, as we can see, a bit of a dip. Overall, I'm expecting a bigger pullback at some point. The market's not going to go in a straight line forever. We've had an exceptional breakout of this range in the weekly chart. So in my book, we're definitely due a pullback at some point. How big that pullback will be, of course, we will only find out when it happens. I do expect to see a bit of a dip for the DXY. We're not going to go just straight bullish on the weekly chart to the high. We could do, but the chances are we're going to have a correction. So I'm getting ready for that. And of course, looking at euro shorts, pound shorts, dollar CAD longs. And when I do see some healthy corrections, hopefully I can find some entries to take advantage of that. But at the moment, it looks like we're having a retest of the high here. I said I wanted to see a much bigger breakout before I would consider a retest of that high. This breakout was great, but just not big enough for me to look for the retest. Doesn't mean it won't hold and send price higher. I want to see price really push to the upside. Then I'll be looking for the pullback into that area. For now, I'm still liking, excuse me. For now, I'm still liking this level back here, which is around 108,500. If we have a bigger pullback, that'll be great, because then pound USD will have a bigger pullback, euro have a bigger pullback, dollar CAD hopefully as well, because euro, pound, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, those guys are still very stretched to the downside. There's a bit of a retracement in the lower time frames, but in the bigger picture, the overall still very, very bearish and haven't seen much upside. So before I do look for any swing trades, I do need to see some healthy upside before I can get in. Something like this would look good. Even deeper, really, even if we come back to that area, I think that's still a nice place for a buy. Talking about this area a couple of weeks ago, never had the retest, but who knows, maybe do get a bigger pullback. We've, of course, got the prior daily high there as well, around 108, 107.8. So there are some areas where USD can pull back to. Now, of course, if the market's going to stay bullish, like I said, we could just retest the high and be on our way. And from an intraday setup, I think this is still a good trade, because from intraday, looking to ride the momentum for the day or for the week, and that is still very much bullish. So it's a decent pullback and could very much see some upside in the next few hours there. Maybe coming to the New York session, we could see price kind of bounce off that area. At the moment, we're kind of a little bit sideways, but yeah, still looking for a deeper pullback, but overall very, very bullish on the dollar. So of course, taking that information into euro, still very, very bearish. Again, it looks like I had a bit of a relief, but overall, I want to see a much bigger pullback than that, because I'm expecting much lower prices. Still looking for 0.96, 0.97 down at those lows. So in my book, there's still a long, long way to go for us. I do want to see a much bigger retracement. As I suggested yesterday, I do like this area here. Price support on the 4-hour chart, really nice bounce again. We broke through, broke back above, broke back below. Price wasn't really respecting this level, so hopefully we now can see that retracement into this zone, respect that level as resistance, just like we were doing as support. See the next lower high in this bearish sequence. So high over there, lower high, lower high, lower high, so on and so forth. And then we get the continuation back to lows and further as well. So yeah, I'm liking EURUSD to the downside. Just want to see a bit more upside for euro, a bit more downside for the dollar for retracement, but I'm still expecting lower prices. There is a world where we do have an even bigger pullback, because this is still our last major high in the market, which broke these lows and gave us new lows. So we could even see a pullback in respect to that high, and then another drop as well. So I'm kind of keeping one eye on something like that forming over the next couple of weeks as well. But for now, still a lot of momentum in the market. We are still pretty overextended. So I do think a bigger pullback will happen at some point. But yeah, still looking at shorts for euro. Pound USD, same situation as well. In fact, this one's even more bearish than euro. This one's just been sliding off a cliff the past few days. You can see the lower highs here on the 4-hour chart. Haven't been messing around. So again, for pound USD, I want to see a bigger pullback. I like this level of support here, back at 1.25, really healthy level of support. Rejected the once, big push, twice, big push. Again, similar to euro, broke below, broke above, broke back below. So we weren't really respecting that area. So it would be nice for price to go and do that. Give us that bigger pullback, go and test that same level. And from there, we could have a really nice drop and continuation of the trend. Again, this is still our last major high in the market. So if I whip out the fib from that high, we've got the 50, which is just below that level, 0.618, just above. So it would be a really healthy retracement for us to get into that area and see the next drop. In terms of the daily chart, we have taken out some more major lows like this one on the left. So I do expect us to hit the next big level, which is this area here, which we just missed on Monday. So yes, still expecting more downside for pound, but do you want to see a much bigger pullback? And hopefully we can get it over the next few days. If not, the market might just keep sliding. So yeah, that's kind of my take on pound USD. Dollar CAD, same situation as well. Actually, no, this one's a bit more choppy. It's trading within a range, but same situation in terms of I'm still looking for that bigger pullback. I still like this area here. I know we are nowhere near this level, but should price get there, I will be looking for longs. And again, same targets back to highs and further. Spoken a lot about the weekly level up here, which is the longer term target for dollar CAD. Still not too far away. Still expect price to go and hit that level. But first, let's see if we can have a bigger pullback. If not, can always keep an eye on the break and retest of the high. Should we see a sufficient breakout of this range with some powerful momentum breaking the highs, there could be a really nice retest there just to keep riding that momentum on the full hour, hourly, maybe even lower time frames to find some entries to really maximize your risk to reward there. But again, opportunities favoring more upside for dollar CAD back to 1.46, which is that weekly zone. But it would be nice to get a bit of retracement because again, if we expand to even the daily chart, really, you can see how stretched the market is. You know, when's the last time we had a move that big without a retracement? You probably say that's a pretty big move, but look what happened after. Price sold off pretty heavily. That was a pretty big move down. See what happened, big push up. This was COVID, but even that had such a hard sell-off as well. And that was a really big move, but you can see what happened afterwards, a push up. So we do have these moves occasionally, big buys, big sells, you know, whatever, but the market does correct itself after a while. So I do expect to see that, and hopefully I can find the buys on that bounce there. So that's still what I'm looking at for dollar CAD. Aussie dollar, very bearish on this one too. But again, we've taken out some major daily, weekly lows here from 2022. So again, I can't really be looking to sell Aussie dollar anymore. Not necessarily looking to jump into buys, but I need that retracement if I want to keep shorting. Because I do think eventually we will push to the COVID lows here. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the higher time frame trend, the market's been falling for quite a while. So there's a good chance that this is our next lower high in comparison to that high there, which gave us the low. So there's a good chance price is going to go and at least test that low again. So that's why I'm expecting price to get back to the COVID lows eventually. But again, that could still take a while. We could retrace, you know, the major lower high, push down again. So it might not even be for another whole year, maybe even longer until we get there. So not necessarily thinking about that too much. But yeah, now that we've taken out this low, do you want to see some upside for dollar CAD? And in terms of where I want to short again, it is this low here. Really nice support, broke through very well. Haven't really come back to retest as resistance. So I'm hoping we can see a lot more upside now for Aussie dollar and then get the next low high and the continuation back to lows, and we'll see how far we can take it. That's still the idea I have for Aussie dollar. And New Zealand dollar, pretty much the same situation as well, except we haven't taken out the major lows just yet. So if I go to the weekly chart, again, you've got the lows here, haven't quite taken it out just yet, but still looking for a bigger pullback. I like the low here. Be nice if price can come back, retest that, then continue. Market's still very stretched, so I don't want to be shorting in these prices. Not that you can't, but you're not necessarily looking for a big move. So you want to be looking at lower time frames, looking for those reactions, and you know, taking your profits at sensible areas, because we are still very corrective. Good chance, yes, we could sell off, but you know, as we push the low, probably will push back up again. So if you're looking for a bigger swing, you'd see a bigger pullback. And yeah, a retest of that area would be very, very nice, similar to the Aussie dollar setup. Of course, they're very similar pairs in general anyway, so they tend to do the same thing. So yeah, it would be nice to see a bigger pullback into that area, find the next high, and then of course short it back down to the prior lows. And of course, you got your lovely gold and silver. Gold and silver pretty bearish yesterday. Nice drop there. I did say some buys could look good on the retest of the high here. and we did have a slight bounce there. Hasn't really set the world alight, but we might be looking for a double bottom here. So if we can get another rejection there, I do think that's a nice place for a buy still. Now, I'm not over the moon. I'm not excited about the price action with gold, really, as for one major reason, because price is still within this range. So I tend to stay away when price is in the middle of a range. Sure, when it's at the bottom or at the high of the range, there can be opportunities there. But in the middle, I try to stay away because that's where you get the most fluctuation, the most chaos in the market. So yeah, consistency in there is a lot harder in general. So yeah, it's a nice place for a bounce. The market has been putting in higher lows, and we could be looking at another one forming. And if it does play out, you're looking at a pretty decent risk reward. If you can probably drop to like maybe the 30-minute or the hourly for entries back to the high there, then if you're successful, probably back to the high there as well. So I do favor upside for the structure to continue at least back to the high of the range. But really what I'm looking for is gold to break the high and hopefully some longs above that to ride it back into the all-time high, which is up here at 27.89, 27.90. So that's something I'm really looking for. I've spoke about the buys on the retest of this low, but price is nowhere near that. So not going to speak too much about that. This is probably the more realistic buy. Breakout, retest, continuation. Very, very simple stuff. So that's what I'm waiting for gold and for silver. Yeah, looking for buys as well. Lovely double bottom from 2-3 weeks ago. Nice push to the upside. However, we had a pretty aggressive sell. So again, I'm looking for those high lows to start printing, and then I'll hopefully find the next one to get involved with, because maybe the market still wants to trend lower. This is a lower high. This could be another one, and we could see another drop. If the market does put a higher low in, that tells me, okay, things are changing. And if I can find the next one somewhere, maybe the retest of the high, hopefully I can look to ride a breakout and a possible swing to the upside, because the bigger move for silver is still very much impulse correction, looking for another impulse back to the high. So that's why I'm still very bullish on silver, still actively looking to buy it, just waiting for a good setup to do so, which isn't quite there yet. But should we form a high or low here, break the high as well, I will start looking for the next pullback to get involved and take that to the upside.